was moving dirt around it out and creating a hole in the ground. The pipeline is located a few feet from the curb, and so there were two cars, or various cars, a lot of cars that are parked along the curb, as you can see behind me. At that time, there were two cars that were parked directly above where the water main broke, and those two cars unfortunately sunk into the hole. One was completely submerged, and the other one is partially submerged. After we repair the main and we put it back in service, we will conduct an investigation to see why the water main broke. But as part of EP Water's plan to replace aging water infrastructure and sewer infrastructure, as a matter of fact, this line was identified as needing replacement. And as such, EP Water has contracted with a contractor, local contractor, who is going to replace this main from this intersection, actually from the intersection of Copia all the way to US 54. The contract is barely getting started. We're waiting a notice to proceed for the contractor to begin operation. As I said earlier, these lines that are what we call transmission lines, they're 24 inches and bigger. They carry thousands of gallons of water and at various degrees of pressure. This line is a pretty high pressure water line, and so the damage is shown as you can see.
You guys have any questions so far?
I was going to ask, what's the safety of the whole area right here? Is there any danger that the road might collapse further around to the line broke?
No, sir. No, sir. As far as the size of the hole that's generating now, that's as far as it's going to get. We may remove some soil that is saturated that we can put back into the hole when we replace it. So we're going to remove that saturated soil, making the hole a little bit bigger. But by itself, it won't get any larger.
Have there been any reports of nearby businesses without water right now?
Everybody has water, yes. Again, this is a transmission main, which I don't know if you know, but the larger lines do not have direct connections to them. All the services in the city are mostly connected to distribution lines, and so there's another distribution line that runs parallel to this line, or in the alleys that provide service to those homes and businesses.
About 2 years ago, a half mile down here, there was another large drainage. Is that part of the same system that's going to be getting replaced with this contract?
That is correct, yes, ma'am. This line extends from US 54 going west to probably a couple of miles towards the railroad tracks, and we're going to replace the majority of the line. This is the first phase, Copia to US 54, and we're going to target those two areas.
How long until these projects start?
We're waiting on the contractor to get his material and equipment set up. They're also waiting for a notice to proceed. I'm guessing, again, that within the month, we should see some activity out here.
Yeah, there's caused a lot of evacuations in the area. When's it going to be safe for people to return to their homes, if they haven't already?
So the fire department, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to thank the fire department for the quick response and alerting people of the break and asking people to leave their homes. I think that they are welcome to come back to their homes now. As long as they stay away from the immediate construction site, they are able to come back to their homes. They have water, they have sewer. As long as they do not interfere with the construction area and put themselves at risk, they could come back to their homes at any time.
How is the city going to be helping the people that lost their cars?
That would have to go through our claims department. El Paso Water Utilities has a claims department, and anybody that's impacted by one of our facilities may proceed that option.
So I know if there's a water break on your property, that's the homeowner's responsibility. This one would be under you guys' responsibility, El Paso Water.
That is correct, yes, ma'am. The water line is within the street right of way, which is a public right of way, and we are also a public entity, so we will repair that as our maintenance responsibilities.
Does that also include the driveway? I understand the driveway is collapsed.
That's right. Yes, sir. There's a driveway, a sidewalk, some landscaping that we need to repair. There may be a little landscape rock wall that fell into the hole that needs to repair. There are several little items that may be on the property side. The sidewalk is typically on the public
Do you have an exact size of how big the sinkhole is?
I'm guessing it's 30 feet by 25 feet in diameter. I think the depth is something like 14, 15 feet in there.
I'm not sure if you can really answer this, but how many gallons of water were lost? I mean, obviously it's spread out on the street everywhere. You know, what do you guys estimate?
You know, I couldn't guess. The hole that of the pipe, the hole that the size of the break is relatively small, 6 inches by 6 inches. But again, because of the pressure, there's a lot more water that came out. Velocity, the pressure, it moves out faster. So the hole is not that big. It's just that it was a lot of water going through there at a high pressure rate. That's why the hole was created.
Sorry, can you just quickly describe the process for how this gets filled in? Because I'm real curious how long that's going to take. Does it have to infill?
You read my mind. I was about to tell. Yeah, if you can just walk them through, like when there's a main break, we respond. Then what happens? You know, fill the hole, so forth.
So typically a main break takes about 6 to 8 hours to repair. Inside the hole, so we have to take those out, and then the pipeline here is only about 4, maybe 5 feet deep to the top of the pipe, so it's not that deep. But what we're gonna do is remove the cars, obviously remove all the water, remove all the soil that's saturated, that's muddy, fill the hole up to a location where our people can stand on solid ground, and then proceed with repair services. We're probably going to cut a piece of the pipe and put in a new piece with a couple of couplings at the end, and then put it back in service. Well, before we put it back in service, we have to cover the whole pipe back up again, put it back in service, make sure it's not leaking, and then start paving or the other amenities.
How long until residents will have access to get through the street?
No, I would say not today for sure. They won't be able to access their roadways today for sure. But I'm hoping by tomorrow, late tomorrow, we'll have cleaned everything up, replaced everything up, and open the roadway for people to drive through. We're probably going to block off that immediate area where the hole was, just because we don't want vehicles running through at 30 miles, 40 miles an hour on an area that's full of dirt only and not compacted without pavement until that happens. But the rest, we'll go ahead and allow people to go into their homes and so on and so forth.
You know, this large piece of equipment just came in here. What is its purpose? What's going to happen with that?
So that is an excavator. So that was on the other side, trying to remove some of the dirt. So that we have 2 cars in there, as I said, and the slope of the hole is such that anybody who steps on it is going to slide down and go all the way to the bottom. So we asked the excavator to cut some more of the hole so that people can work safely. They can step down at a step or 2 steps and make sure that the person, the tow truck, can get to the cars. For his sake, we created some stepping down into the hole to allow him to be able to gear or think of how he's going to get the vehicle out. So that's what the excavator is here for, just to clean things up around the hole.
Have you already been in contact with the towing company? Like,
Yes, we did. We contacted the towing company. They said that, but the gentleman told us that his vehicle was not strong enough to take those vehicles out. So they asked for a bigger flatbed with more power, I guess, and we're waiting on them now.
Good? Yeah? All right, let's do Spanish if you guys don't mind. Thank you. And depending,